Hello, Gun Nation. Big Johnson coming at you. Are y'all out there? 17 will be joining us in a minute, but just let me know if y'all can hear or see me. Shoot something up in the chat line there just to make sure we are good to go. Give me a comment. Can you hear me, see me, all that good stuff? Man, I love breakfast for dinner. Breakfast for dinner is awesome. All right, you be there. All right. Yep, we've got a lot to talk about. Hello, Hard Target. How are you? Good to see you, brother. Big Daddy G, IBG, Pistol Pete, Romans, Nate Wolf. I'll do a real quick roll call. Like I said, 17 will be joining us here in a minute. Dan Marr, Ranger, and Ranger was first, I believe. Frank. Let's go down through here and make sure I didn't miss anybody. I haven't seen music yet. She might. Dennis B's here. All right, let's get back to the bottom here. Got a bunch of goodies to talk about. I have a whole list. I'm sure y'all have a lot to talk about too. Let's see here. Hope everyone is doing well. Yes, Pistol Pete, I guess everything's free. That's from what I'm hearing on TV and stuff, and that's some of the stuff I wanted to talk about tonight. Let's see if anybody else jumped in here. Stephen Sheets, how are you, sir? Texas Johnson, yes, sir. Born and raised. Dubai, how are you? Yeah, we all need more ammo. Hello, Ohio Gear. Yes, I'm on the road. Can you tell from my... It's actually a very nice hotel, but this room looks like some kind of a freaking porn star or porn room. Porn was shot here or something. It's pretty crazy. No, Bald 17 will be here. He is just finishing up some stuff. Yes, I'm actually in H-Town. So I am in Houston, Texas. So, and it is hot, muggy, all that good stuff. Hello, Guy Comment. See Kim. Hello, Armsman. All right, let's go ahead and kick this off. First, let's talk about the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris situation. I have a feeling we're all on the same page about this, but this is a train wreck waiting to happen. You got two of the biggest gun grabbers out there in the world talking about we don't need this and we don't need that, while both of them are talking outside both of their mouths. Because, of course, I'm sure they have Secret Service and security and all this other mess, but common folk people don't need anything to defend their lives with. So, but yeah, that's a big train wreck. So let me know if y'all have any, man, I'm getting blown up here. Let me know what y'all's opinion is. Yeah, that's, got to get there somehow. So, yeah, one wears Depends and one wears knee pads. Sure, that's probably what's going on with this. But, yeah, this, talking about they're going to have your guns and have all this stuff and have all that. Yeah, good luck if you're going to give up your guns for this kind of mess. And this buyback thing, yeah, I'll give you $20 for that rifle and $50 for that, this and that. Yeah, that'll never... Yeah, and that's Guy Comment. You bring up a point about this mail-in voting. I think that's what they're trying to pull off. And I don't know if y'all heard about this. Did you hear about all of the fake driver's license that was? It was at an airport. It was being shipped in, and they actually found it at an airport. And I don't know how many IDs it was, but they're fake IDs. Fake driver's license, and I think it was boxes and boxes and boxes of them. So it was actually found today. I forget the article I read it on, but y'all might check that out. I should have written it down, but I didn't. But yeah, there was a whole bunch of fake IDs that were being shipped in, and guess where they were coming from? They were being shipped in from China. So no lie, you can read the article. You probably just Google fake IDs from China. And 130 pages on Kamala. Yeah, there's this is a mess. Yeah, and she was actually in law enforcement, from what I understand, back in the day, and trying to defund the police and everything. So I don't know, I don't know what all this is about. But let's also talk about the looting in Chicago, and they've got it going on in Chicago and Seattle. The police chief is stepping down, and they just hired a bunch of new police officers in Seattle. Now they're saying they're going to have to lay them off, and the police chief is stepping down. That's a mess too. I mean, that's a mess in itself. So I don't know what they're gonna be doing. So, but let's see here. Yeah, Dennis B, I probably will do that sometime. Yeah, and Pistol Pete, you and I are on the same page. Um, with Joe Biden, my thought was, with his dementia or whatever he has going on, if he were to win, he could actually just say, hey, due to this thing and that thing, I'm going to have to step down, and the VP would step in. So just wondering if that's, I think you and I have been thinking the same thing on that. Hello, Art. How are you doing? But what do y'all think about these riots, or excuse me, the looting in Chicago? It's basically, there was some of these protesters that were saying, just take what you want, sell it, and that will provide food for you and your family. So, and basically they're acting like it's not against the law to steal from people's businesses. And there was a boutique shop owner, the wife and the husband were on TV, and they've already been looted twice in 3 months and completely wiped out. And how these people are saying, oh, the insurance will take care of it, insurance will take care of it. It's like if you wreck your car so many times, insurance is going to drop you. And it's the same thing with this theft situation. They can't just keep covering this just because people want free crap. So, I don't understand what's going on with these people just thinking they can come in and take what they want, because, on public property or your home, if people were just coming in and taking stuff, you got the right to, start taking them out. And I think if it's situations like this, a lot of these store owners should be down there armed. And if they're able to have private security that's down there and armed, because this stuff's getting out of hand, and they're raising all the bridges and all this stuff, saying that people can't get in there and do this and do that. They're getting in and doing what they want to do, and they're just letting them do it. And you've got Beetlejuice running that place, and she's just letting everybody do what they want to do. Let's see. Roman's saying, I never knew Oregon has a lot of people that protest anything and everything. It's pathetic. Yeah, I mean, they will. People will protest for anything. Like, we don't have enough garbage cans, and they'll create a protest. It's amazing. People need to pick a real battle, and they need to fight for that. And we've got a real battle on our hands with this gun grab thing. We're going to have to start really getting out and marching and doing what we need to do. And also, even for the respect of the police, I don't know if y'all saw it, but a lot of people were standing out there that had their own little protest, saying that they support the police, and that they don't need to pull money from the police. They need to add money to the police departments. And I feel that that's what they need to do. It's kind of like defending the fire department. I mean, if you have a fire, who's going to show up? So, keeping the south side out. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I saw that about Jesse Jackson saying that it needs to stop. There's a lot of people that have been coming out and saying it needs to stop, but they're not getting the airtime. They're not getting shown. They're not getting, talked about. It's all the negativity that's getting talked about, because the media just wants to feed on that. Anytime they can have something negative that's going to be catchy, or, like a little firestorm, that's what they want to grab and run with. I don't know if y'all recently heard about I think he was a 5-year-old boy that was on his bicycle, and a convicted felon that was let out um, actually went up and trying to find a nice way to say this. There's no nice way. Um, took the child out in front of his sisters. Um, there's no marching about that. It was a young white kid and a older black man that did that, and that's disgusting. But we're not seeing anything about it. I don't get it. I do not get it. And like I've said, if you come in and you shut this stuff down and you make an example and you bring out fire hoses and beanbag guns and say this is not going to be tolerated, people will not show up. If you let them run and do what they want to do and control everything, it's going to get worse. It's going to keep happening. You've got to shut it down. Hard Target is saying each one of those riots just proved that police and local governments can't control them and maintain order. All of more reason for individual gun rights and rights to protect their own. Agreed. I mean, we've got to stand up and we've got to protect our own. Yeah, where's the outrage? I agree, Pistol Pete. Wow, that's crazy. Rabbi's saying he got a flyer in the mail from a senator with bullet points about hating the police. So politicians are finding it fashionable to hate the police. That's disgusting. That shouldn't be tolerated. Yeah, Mark, I'm telling you, if you made examples out of people, it would stop. It would stop. And they're saying, oh, we're going to catch them on CCTV and all this other stuff, of them committing crimes. But I don't know if you've seen these people that follow them around with umbrellas and they try to hold the umbrellas up on these cameras so you can't get facial recognition and all this other stuff. I mean, it's an orchestrated group. It's probably Soros group, and they're probably busting them in and paying them and all this other stuff to commit all this crap. And that stuff needs to be shut down. I guarantee you get some fire hoses out there and people start getting in a mob and start doing crazy stuff, and how they're taking these lasers and they're shining them on these police officers' eyes and stuff like that. I mean, those lasers that's actually a crime, you know, but it's just, they're letting them do what they want to do. I don't get it. I do not get it. Let's see here. What are y'all thinking about the ammo? I saw that Pistol Pete found some 45, and that was a good price. It was like $15 and something. I didn't see if it was steel cased or aluminum or any of that, but $15 and something for 45 is actually pretty good. So if y'all can start finding little deals and little tidbits about that, grab it up. Hello, Lorenz. How are you? Greetings from Switzerland. We appreciate you being on, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, all of the, I've seen, I don't know if y'all have been needing any red dots and things like that. RMRs are out of stock, SROs, Delta Point Pros, I've still seen those, but, I don't know if Delta Point Pro or Leopold is coming out with something different or not. The rumor is they are, but I don't know for sure if they're going to or not. But, all of the red dots are hard to get. Holosun's got stuff on intergalactic back order also. Yeah, I mean, parts are getting slim. AR parts, barrels, lowers, uppers. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that is really hard to get. Even charging handles I've seen in some areas, and I've heard from some people shooting me DMs asking if they know where you can get charging handles, and I still see a ton of them in my area. So, but all right. Any questions that y'all have? 17 said that he'll be on here in just a minute. So he just texted me a little bit ago. All right. Bought a 1022 takedown backpack last night and had to go to Gunbroker to find CCI Velociter high or extra high velocity 22 LR 40 grain copper hollow point, 1,000 rounds for 190. Couldn't find it anywhere else. Yeah, I've seen some 22. I've seen a lot of 22 short, and I've got a couple of old rifles that are 22 short, but I don't really ever shoot them anymore. But yeah, I mean, it's it's getting thin out there. That's why I was saying, back a long time ago, if you could find something, even 22, because 22 is, in my opinion, it's going to be the last ammo made because there's such a demand for centerfire right now. So rimfire is going to be put on the back burner because they don't make much profit off 22. They don't really hardly make any profit off 22, I don't believe, except your higher, like match grade and things like that. But I think that they are pushing it back. And they're just trying to pump out centerfire ammo. And I'm not a reloader, but I've even been looking for primers at reloading places. No one has any small primers. They have large primers, but no small primers like for 9mm or anything. So I don't know if you're having any luck in your area. Let's see here. Hello, sir.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
How are you doing, man?
Doing well. Had a flight here from my daughter's softball game, so I'm live.
There you go.
At least I think.
All right,
live.
let's see.
Really know.
Let's see what Rabbi's got a question here, real quick. Says Big John's a question for you and the group. I have a guy who wants to trade me a Colt 1911 Gold Trophy 38 Super plus a used VP9 for my Tavor with EOTech. Wow. I bet he is looking for something for self-defense, is what I'm assuming. Would you do that trade, 17?
Well, let me look at this because I wasn't paying attention. What a surprise. I know. I have a guy who wants to trade me a Colt 1911 Super new plus a used VP9 for his Tavor. Well, I mean, do you really want to give up your Tavor for VP9? I mean, the Gold Cup, maybe, but the VP9, I don't know if it's worth that. And how much do you like your Tavor? If I had a Tavor, I'd keep it, but that's me.
Yeah, well, it's a Tavor with an EOTech. So the Gold Trophy Cup, is nice. 38 Super is hard to find ammo for, and it's not cheap. VP9, nah. I mean, me personally, I would keep the Tavor and the EOTech, honestly. That's just my opinion. If you really want the Gold Cup 38 Super, which is 38 Super is awesome, but right now it sounds like somebody's just needing some sort of a rifle and an optic, so he's wanting to change that out. That would be my opinion.
Agreed.
We were talking about your buddy Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. What do you think about that?
Oh, if that's not a winning ticket, I don't know what is. I mean, come on. You got a guy who thinks it's 1911 and we're battling the Spanish flu. You got a woman who years ago was announced as the first Indian American senator, and now she's African American, which, her father, who wrote a book about his descendants or his direct descendant of a plantation owner. I mean, it's interesting. I think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think he's Jamaican, isn't he?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. This is the platform they chose. Good luck. God bless. Hopefully people turn out and vote their conscience and what they want for the country. I mean, that's not up to me to tell all of you what to think. But at the same time, you guys have to do what's in your interests. But mine are not lying with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris or whatever her name is.
Yeah, one wears Depends and one wears knee pads.
It's
definitely
interesting.
Go ahead,
world.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, definitely an interesting world.
Picked up a Shadow 2 Orange today, and I'm looking forward to breaking it in. Congratulations, young guns. That's a great gun. I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. But remember, save that ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is in Bald saying this because I was talking about earlier. Primers are bringing premium on Gunbroker. That's what I've heard too.
Everything's bringing a premium on Gunbroker, not even just primers. It's everything. Firearms.
Matter of fact.
Everything.
Yeah, matter of fact, there was a buddy of mine sent me a thing tonight on Gunbroker and he's actually a subscriber too, but he was saying that a honey badger went for $5,000 on Gunbroker today.
Yeah, I believe it. Hell, I've seen 19X going for $900.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, craziness. Yeah. And what's funny is I was at a gun store the other day, just at lunch, and they're looking around. They didn't really have anything, and one guy comes in and goes, "Hey, you have any Glock 19s?" And they were like, "Oh no." And he goes, "Okay." And he looked around for a minute and then he left. And then another guy came in there like not even 10 minutes later, and he's like, "Hey, you got any Glock 19s?" And they were like, "No." And he goes, "Okay, thanks." And he just walked right out the door. So,
Well, I'll tell you, I may have a Glock 19 to sell pretty soon myself, due to the fact that this little thing called the MR920 came in today, and it is an impressive firearm.
Yeah, I figured you'd really like it.
Mm-hmm. And I do. It's pretty.
Yeah, they're pretty nice guns. I just wish. I mean, for me, I wish the grip were longer.
Well, maybe, they have the L now, but maybe they'll go to like a 19X version of it, which I think would be cool, because it really, I mean, comparatively speaking, yeah, it's a lot more expensive than a Glock, but if you're doing your Glock the way some people do them, you might as well just start with this thing, because it's going to save you money in the end.
Yeah.
So it's maybe not so much now, but a couple of months ago it would have, because now they're you can't find them either.
Yeah, and I was kind of talking to a buddy about that. Is, in your opinion right now, and I would like everybody to chime in. In your opinion right now, is it better to invest in guns, or is it better to invest in ammo? If you don't have a lot of either, what would you choose to invest in right now?
In this particular moment, if you have a reliable firearm, start investing in ammo, because you can have 5,000 guns and have 100 rounds of ammo. That makes no sense. Right now I can't find 9mm anywhere by me. I just got a 1911 that's in 45, and I can only find 100 rounds. That's it. Yeah. So I'm still fishing around locally, but so far it's been a black hole here. So if you only have one firearm and you feel that firearm is adequate and is reliable, then start finding ammo and buying it.
Yeah. That's what I've always said too. I've had, during when ammo was just laying on shelves, and you could just find it for dirt cheap and everybody had it. I would say, hey, buy some guns, and and I've said this many times before. I'm like, everybody's like, hey, how do you stockpile ammo? It's like, if you go into, every paycheck, and I've talked about this before, and you're able to buy like 4 or 5 boxes here, 4 or 5 boxes there, and just start building it up. That's how you can get a good amount of ammo. It's going to take you a little while, but that's and you can buy all your supplies and reload at your will. But that's
the other thing that's interesting too is everybody talks about the ammo, and yeah, there's a legitimate shortage right now. And you can speculate that it is because there are so many new gun owners that are now buying it and hoarding it. But, it's kind of crazy, because you always want people to buy a gun. But now, of course, like toilet paper, it has become this rage to buy everything and anything. And of course, the only thing that I'm able to find in abundance right now is 30-30. So for all you 30-30 folks out there, it's available and it's out there, and the prices haven't gone up at all. So I've been buying like two boxes like every 4 days or something, just to keep on, stockpiling.
What I've seen a ton of is 243, 30-30, 308. Seen a ton of 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, and 22 short. I've just seen tons of that. But as far as like 223, 556, all that stuff's flying out. But and there's some places that like they get ammo deliveries every Thursday, so they'll put it, start putting it up on the shelf, and it's at the end of the day or even half the day it's gone. There's people waiting there like every Thursday to get it. So they're just saying, hey, come back Thursday. Well, everybody and their brother shows up on Thursday, and then it's wiped out. So,
yeah.
Oh, and I have, Keith Gregory saying 10mm. I have seen some 10mm also. This is actually a good question, and I've been asked this tons of times. How much 9mm do you like to stockpile? I had 1,000 rounds before COVID, and now down to 300, and won't shoot it. So what do you think is a good amount? We don't have to be hoarders or anything,
right.
But What
I
do
mean,
you
I
think?
think for practical purposes, self-defense, you should have at least 1,000. I think for target ammo, it's good to have 1,000. So I would say 1,000 on both ends. But we're living through like some really just ridiculous times, and 1,000 is nothing. I mean, if you go and
Yeah.
shoot regularly, like right now, I have for target ammo, I have about 800 plus rounds, and that's it. Like that's all I have for target ammo right now. So I'm under 1,000. My self-defense ammo, I'm over 1,000, but I don't want to shoot that at the range and then just waste it on paper.
Yeah.
So I would say in normal times, 1,000 a piece. In abnormal times, build up, and whatever total you have at that point is what you have.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot more of defensive and target ammo, way more than that. I do believe in keeping, because I've been through a lot of these different, dry ups or ammo issues or whatever you want to say. So, I mean, I'm stacked pretty deep, and in a lot of the calibers that I shoot, shotgun, I've got a lot. 22, I have a ton. 9mm, I've got a ton. But I was a little weak in 5.56, but I made it up right at the end, before this really, really hit. So, it's never a bad thing to have it, because you can put it away, you can store it properly. It's not going to go bad. And you never know when this is going to happen. And I've even said this before. Everybody thinks I have to have only defensive ammo to shoot defensively. No,
Sure.
When stuff gets bad, I'll be launching some Full Metal Jackets if I have to. I mean, that's
right.
I mean,
so a lot of people are saying 5,000.
You're popping holes. That's what. Yeah, and I think 5 to 6, honestly, with your preferred caliber or your dominant caliber, is not a bad thing, or over, because it still allows you to shoot and practice. Now, when I go shoot now, I won't go and shoot 300, 400 rounds like I used to.
Right.
I'll go and shoot 50, or I mean, I just want to be fundamentally, just have the basics down. And that brings up another thing. There is a lot you can do with dry fire and snap caps. And of course, just keep your ammo put away. But, you can draw from the holster, you can practice a lot of dry fire. And you can stick, I stick Post-it notes on the wall, and I've got those little targets from Ben Stoger, where I can stick them up on the wall and do stuff like that. And, that's what I did the other day when I was at home. I'm out of town right now, but I was taking a shorty, and I was just walking around the house, dry firing a 10.5, because that's, if something were to happen in your house, you're going to know what you need to do. But, it's never a bad thing to practice working your light, for your rifle or your pistol, and, doing a lot of dry fire stuff. So that's never a bad thing at all. Matter of fact, I was doing it in the hotel here a little bit before. We started the chat. I was doing a little bit of dry fire. So I'm sure whoever's next on either side probably heard click, 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 and probably getting tired of that, but whatever.
Let me ask you this, and this goes for everybody as well, in regards to dry firing. One of the things that I find with dry firing is a lot of times I don't pull the trigger completely through. I'm pulling mostly for take up to see where that wall is. And then to me, a lot of people say, oh, pull the trigger, put a snap cap in, but you really can save yourself a lot of trouble by just learning where your trigger breaks, and some people may not agree with that, and that's fine. But a lot of times I'll just sit here and I'm doing it right now, literally just finger banging this thing without pulling the trigger completely to the rear and having the trigger go off, just because, again, it's a new gun and I want to know where that sponginess is going to be, if there's any movement when you hit the wall. And then as soon as you feel it, you know exactly where it's going to break. And just doing that alone sometimes will help you in kind of imagining where this gun is going to let go and how it's going to operate. I just think, to me, that's a little bit easier as well.
Yeah, no, I do that. I actually just prep it right to the wall, right where it's going to break, and then I release off, and then get right, go to a different target, get right back on it, then take off. You don't have to have it click, click, click every single time. But if you do want to feel a little movement, unless you have a dry fire mag, you can just pull the slide back, fold up a piece of paper and just kind of keep it out of battery, and that'll give you a trigger. You won't get the hard click, but it'll give you a trigger to play with. So there's a lot of ways to do it like that too. But I think it's just a good idea to, I don't dry fire like Red Dots does. This guy right here, he's a competitive shooter. He dry fires a ton. He's got 15,000 rounds stockpiled, so that's always good. But you know, I don't.
What's your address, Red Dot?
Yeah.
What's his address?
Yeah, but you know, I don't dry fire every single day like I should. I mean, I know that, but you know, I try to do it at least 3 times a week, sometimes more. But I am doing it with rifles a lot more now than I did in the past. You know, going up, getting a cheek weld, you know, seeing your dot, and you know, playing with it that way. So, spending a lot more time with the rifles where I never did before.
That's what I've been doing with the Marlins, just shouldering them, just literally walking through the house, getting a nice, just a nice kind of a, what's the word I want to use? Just a real nice center between my shoulder blade and my chest. So it's coming straight up in line. So I just drop my head easily, you know, just working on that. And again, it's mechanics. Everything is mechanics. Work on your mechanics so that it becomes natural, like a part of you, you know? It's like anything else, it's like throwing a ball. Yeah,
you're just trying to create a habit. And, you know, once it's ingrained in your memory, then hopefully you can do it every single time. You know, I mean, that is what I try to do too. Like I said, sometimes, you know, it doesn't work out real well and I can't do it at that exact time, but I try to. Also, I did want to bring up something, and I know that you had an issue, and I had talked to you about it before, and you were like, "Oh, you've done something wrong." But this YouTube crap about demonetizing videos, I mean, every video I put out, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be.
I didn't say you did anything wrong. I said if you have links, get rid of those links because they're fishing for those.
Yeah, but it could be rainbows and unicorns, and it'll get demonetized. I mean, I don't do rainbow and, you know, unicorn videos, but the second I put it out, it's demonetized. The last 2 I've done, no links in them at all, demonetized instantly. And I'm not putting any crazy stuff in it or anything like that. And the second they get demonetized, I mean, there's just no views. I mean, like the one I put out today.
That's what I told you. I said, you know, with the ones, or I said to everybody, I got pegged for 3 different violations. And none of them make sense. And I've been going, I went back and forth. And, you know, and like I said, I'm not going to necessarily blame the John Doe behind the keyboard because it's not their decision. They have to pass the buck up. And then it's the idiots up top who are screwing things up. But they said that, you know, one video I was shooting in an unsafe area. I'm like, I'm in the middle of a gun range. Where do you want me to shoot this goddamn thing? And then
probably thought you were in your mom's basement because that place looks
right. Well, it looks like a basement. And then the other ones where I was trying to sell a product or sell a gun, and also selling modified parts to a gun. So even night sights, they're considering a modification that enhances the gun. So it's like you can't say anything. So my next video is going to be like, this gun's a piece of shit. Nobody should buy it, and I should be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, or we'll just, you know, I'm going to do one where I just bring out a bunch of Legos and I make like a little Lego gun. You know, I mean, it's getting ridiculous. Yeah, and Red's actually talking about this too. You know, Sandy Hook, he learned his lesson and that's why he's loaded up. And yeah, I mean, hell, even before Sandy Hook, you know, we had some incidents before that, but Sandy Hook was when like mags, you know, AR mags went up to like $60 a piece and $100 a piece and all this crazy stuff. I mean, they just find crap to, you know, go crazy about. But, you know, and that's kind of another thing, you know, and I know Red's talking about it too. You know, guns right now, like I've got a gun, you know, guns, you've got guns and stuff, and I've got guns that I don't, you know, shoot a whole bunch. Matter of fact, I was digging through one of the safes and I found 2 guns that I forgot that I had, 2 pistols. Yeah.
That's the sign of a gunaholic, sir.
Yeah. Well, I know that, but you know, one of them I've had for years. I mean, like probably 20 years. So, but that's the thing, you know, I don't shoot them all the time. I don't shoot every one of them. But you know, if I were to get rid of one of the guns would bring probably a lot of money because it's a collector item. The other gun wouldn't really bring a lot. Well, put it this way. I could probably get a lot for it now because of the situation that we're in or some people are in. But I'm just not one of those guys that, you know, and I could set it at a good price, you know, and make a little money off of it. But I don't really want to rape anybody on it. I wouldn't do that. But, you know, I always look at it like if I had to arm someone else or, something like that, friends, family, stuff like that, or if stuff got
Sure.
really, really bad. I mean, if it got really, really bad, I would actually start saying, here, you keep this gun at your house or whatever. And I would sign something, even like a bill of sale, saying, I sold you this gun for $1 because it's people I care about. If it ever came to that situation, I would do that too. But just all of a sudden just up and sell all your guns, because this is going to come back around just like it always does. The prices aren't going to drop on ammo overnight or anything like that. We all know that. But, just to have a fire sale, which a lot of people are doing, that's not necessarily a good thing either.
Well, I think also though, you equated it to, raping people with the prices, but you know what? You can't rape somebody if they're willing to pay for it. And
no,
so,
I agree.
and I went to that point too when I sold that one rifle. I asked myself, should I really do this? But then I saw what I could get for it, and I said, fuck it, I'm going to do it, because that allowed me to then feed the the gunaholicism that I have with other things, and it gave me an opportunity to fund higher priced things that I would not have normally able to buy. So I look at it from the standpoint of, okay, if you're willing to pay for this, here you go. And then I'm going to use it to do what I want on my end, So I don't necessarily think I have a problem with it. And what I sold wasn't exactly a very easy to get rifle, So I don't feel that guilty. I don't feel guilty at all, to be honest with you. Now, some of the prices I see on Gunbroker now for, like, let's say I was looking at Gen 4 19s because I'm thinking of a video that I'm going to be doing soon. And I'm looking at the prices that they're going for. I'm like, holy shit. I mean, there was a Gen 4 that had like 24 bids on it, and it was ready at $750.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's crazy. I mean, that's insane. Yeah. And what would be the righteous thing to do? Like, where is the stopping point for a price? And honestly, I don't know if right now, if you have a ton of guns, really it's a seller's market, man. It's like anything else. Like you could buy a house for $250 and then sell it for $550 10 years later. Should you not do that? I don't know.
No, I mean, I'm not, and it's capitalism. I mean, I understand it's supply and demand. So, and I'm not saying I wouldn't ever do it, but, or if, like I said, if I had a good friend or something that I know that really needed it, I wouldn't take advantage of them, but if it's just some show blow off the street saying, hey, I really want that gun, then, we would talk and the price would go up. Okay, he's asked this question a couple of times. Anikoff, or maybe, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, but do you really need to use snap caps with a Shadow 2? My opinion is any double action, single action gun, I would recommend a snap cap, or to put an O-ring at the back of the hammer, just a little small O-ring, just slide it down in there so it's not banging on the firing pin. And that's going to prolong the life of it, so you don't have to change stuff out. So yes, I would recommend a snap cap. You don't have to do it every single time, but I would get in the habit of doing it, either an O-ring or a snap cap. And you can eventually wear out snap caps. I've got snap caps that are just hammered on the back. They're trashed. So you'll eventually have to change your snap caps also. But yes, I would recommend that. What about you?
I guess. I mean, especially for a CZ, just because you have that one pin that has a tendency to kind of buckle on you at the worst possible moment. So I would say it's a good thing to use that.
Yeah.
So really quick, Scott P79 is saying the last OD green he saw in Gunbroker was over 1,200. So I'm looking at them right now because, I have one and I'd recommend getting one. But right now there is two. I don't even know if we could say this. Two of them on there. One at 620 with one bid on 4 days, and one at 635 with 3 days left. So, I think that's a little overpriced per se, but not by much. So, I mean, I think right now those are going fairly decent. I could see a slight markup, but when you're talking $300-$400 markups, I mean, that seems to be a little excessive in my opinion.
Yeah. But it's like we were talking about earlier, man, if somebody's willing to pay that for it, there's, like I've said, not just in guns, but in business period, there's an ask for every seat. So if somebody's willing to pay that, I mean,
well, go ahead.
I know that there's people that throw out crazy stuff. Like, for example, and I posted it on Instagram, one of my customers has a 2020 GT, not the Mustang GT, the actual GT.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to be chosen to get that car. Well, that car starting out is over 500 grand. I know he paid more than that for it. However, he never drives it. He's got it displayed. It doesn't even, I think it's got 3 miles on it. And Red and I were even talking about it, the guy that's in the chat, we were talking about it, and he's like, man, I can't believe people buy those cars and don't ever drive them, and they just put them up. And I'm like, well, some people look at value as driving it and getting the value out of it, or putting it up and looking at the collectability of it, like you could with guns. And I gave him an example. We have a family friend that owns 6 houses. 6. And these aren't little houses, they're big houses. He owns 6 houses. He has never stepped foot in 3 of them. Never. And he owns them all. Hadn't even stepped foot in those 3 houses that he owns. So, but he looks at them as, revenue and because all he's doing is paying for it. But then again, you got property tax, you've got all this other stuff, but money's not an issue for him. But when he goes to sell them in the areas that he purchased, the land is just going sky high. So, I mean, it's what you choose as an investment, that's what you can choose. So, but, and I think that Red's been saying this, but, about 12 gauge shotguns or shotguns in general. I think shotguns are a great choice if that's what you want to use. Shotguns do a lot of damage. Matter of fact, I needed some more slugs, so I found some here in Houston, some some buck. And so they had a 2-box limit, but it was the big boxes, so I was able to grab those for a decent price. Not good, but what's your feeling about shotguns?
Well, it's funny you ask. I actually wound up just selling my last shotgun. I am now shotgunless, and I'm okay with it.
Okay.
So, like for me, my self-defense rifle is, I got a 30-30 that'll put a nice sizable dent in your body. I got one that's a 16-inch barrel, easy to maneuver in the house. Can attach a light to it. So listen, I'm okay with that. Totally happy with it. So it's kind of like it's a shotgun, only it's a lever action.
Well, see, and the thing that I do like about shotguns, pistols poke holes, rifles poke holes, shotgun blows chunks of meat off of you. It'll cut you in half if you want it to. So, and that's not from me, that's from Clint. If y'all follow Thunder Ranch, he's like, it'll blow chunks off of you, and it literally will. So if you want to cut somebody in half, that'll definitely do it. But it just depends on what you're using it for and how you're going to use it. But, anything can be effective with the correct ammo. But, even a face full of birdshot would not be fun, especially at close range. But if you're depending on birdshot at distance, you picked the wrong thing. Because I think I still have I think I still have birdshot in me from when I was younger. So and it hurt like hell, but they got some of it out with tweezers and some they didn't. But what do you think? What do you think about all this? We were talking about it earlier, but what do you think about all this Chicago stuff and Seattle and looting still and all this stuff still going on? What's your opinion?
So I think it's. So I'll take them step by step. So I'll talk about Chicago later because that's kind of one of the newer ones. But I think Seattle for me is kind of the one that sticks with me the most, because there are obviously certain people who talk a lot of bullshit about, oh, they're just protesters. And we know that they're not, and they never were. Whether or not you believe in the BLM movement or not, is relevant to me. But to me, that movement has been absolutely hijacked by Antifa. And if you watch videos, you can see it. It's ridiculous. But I think what's really telling about the whole situation in Seattle is you have a city that, let's be honest, nice looking city. But some deadbeats there or whatever, but you have a black police chief, right? And by everybody's account, this woman is a woman of integrity, a female black police chief, rose through the ranks at the highest level of her game. She resigns because of the fact that there's no respect for her department and her officers anymore. And I kind of just sat there and shook my head. And I said to myself, these mayors who talk a good game about, well, we're here for the minorities, and I'll speak as one, and we're here to support the brown and black people of America. Yet it's them who are in charge, who have destroyed and riddled these cities to begin with. And then you have someone who is in a powerful position, who's a female and a black woman, a very strong black woman, and you do everything to force her to resign. Yep. What does that say? You know, you're going to tell me that you're pro this and pro that, but because this one person is not falling in line with your way of thinking, you need to have them resign. Like, I just think that's ridiculous. And you know what? I said it and I'll say it again. Let these cities burn to the ground. Let them burn. You know, wait, when you call 911 and there's nobody on that other end, let the cities burn. Chicago, same thing, same exact thing. Oh, let's do this, let's do that. I mean, and then you got again, you've got the mayor of Chicago, Lightfoot, who didn't say anything. Oh, everything. Now all of a sudden it's bad. Yeah, I mean, it's just it is unbelievable what has gone on. And I don't want to talk about politics and this and that, and I really don't. But I want to talk about the fact that what the hell is wrong with us as a country when we have people who look and sound like people who are saying that no one's listening to them, but they are forced out of office. And this is the best part. They're forced out of office by a white lady in Seattle. I mean, really? Like, that's what we're talking about. And no one sees this as a problem. And yet they're going to give, you know, the nod to Joe Biden, who's an idiot. You're going to give the nod to Kamala, whatever her name is, who was notorious as a prosecutor for not giving people their rights. It's, you know, it's blindness. They're just blind, and it's a damn shame.
Well, let's take it even further than that. The cancel culture period is insane. You know, like companies that have products, and if it's not the perfect name, or if it's not the perfect this, or if it's something that one person doesn't agree with and post it up on Facebook and says, oh, look, they have this name in their product or whatever, let's go after them. And then you get this mob mentality to jump on a bandwagon, which has no idea, and they never even bought the product or never even supported the company to begin with. Right. And they start going after these companies, and these companies are literally folding like lawn chairs.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they're giving up the farm, and they're just like, oh, yes, we'll change this and we'll change that. Screw you. You know, you built those companies, you built that product, you did this, you did that, you know. And I mean, like the Washington Redskins, they've been named that forever. And Indians aren't even pissed off about it. So, but it's like they keep dragging these horses, man. It's just like beating a dead horse.
Well, and you know, even with that, and I know we don't do a lot of politics on this channel because people get pissed right away. But I think also, you know, like this whole thing, everything that's been going on has made me really just stop and kind of take a step back and kind of analyze some things. You know, like I'll be honest with you. You know, there's a lot of people who cry about racism stuff. And, you know, I was born in the 70s. I lived through the 80s and the 90s and now. But I always say, and one of the things I always say to anybody, and this including my own kids, is that was I a victim of racism growing up? And I'm going to say yes, 100%. I've been called everything you can think of as a Hispanic male, from wetback to spick to everything. And I've heard it from every demographic, not just one. But one thing that I always say to my kids is that you can be a victim of racism, but you should never allow racism to victimize you. Yep. And that's something that I think is not being said enough. Yes, I was a victim of racism, but guess what? I went out, I busted my ass, I've got 2 master's degrees. And I'm not saying that makes me anything special, but I lived my dream as a fireman and medic. Now I'm doing something else where I make a very good living. And it wasn't because the color of my skin. It wasn't because I felt bad for myself. It wasn't because I allowed racism to stop me from doing what I wanted to do. It was because I made a choice to prove that you can say whatever you want about me, but the one thing you're not going to be able to prove is exactly what you're saying. And I don't think that's being said enough.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. I mean, you know, I mean, I came from I've never talked about this personally, but I came from a broken home, and you know, I grew up in poverty. We didn't really have a lot of stuff, and you know, I busted my ass, went to school, got an education, did everything, and make a very good living, and very comfortable, and you know, started from nothing, and now I'm here, and I think other people can do it too. But it's all this give me bullshit. And
right. And it's from everybody. It's not just from one particular race or anything. It's from everybody.
Yeah. And I mean, anybody can be anything they want. If, you come from a bad area and you want to get out of it and you want to better yourself, you can do it. It's always up to you. No one can do it for you, unless you're just given, somebody says, hey, I'll hire you and I'll pay you all this money. But, you control your own destiny, but everybody wants it for free. And they want other things to bend over backwards and just give away the farm. Like these people were saying, oh, you can steal this stuff, you can loot it and steal it to feed yourself and your family, and it's okay. No, it's not okay.
So one thing I just want to address really quick, Bald and Curious, he's sitting here saying being called names is not racism. That is like me calling 1776 racist for calling me a cracker. First of all, I've never called you a cracker, and I wouldn't, because that's the dumbest term I've ever heard in my life. However, what I would say to you is that, you know what? I'm going to tell you that being called those names, maybe I didn't explain it well enough, so I'll try to do a little bit better job. Being called those names from people who then stood in your way from doing what you wanted to do is absolutely racism, period. I'll give you a good example. When you ask a female out in high school and you are not allowed to see that female because her parents don't want anything to do with you because your last name is what my last name is, which I'm not telling you, suckers. But what you have to realize is that is racism. Anytime somebody sets a barrier up in front of you based upon your race, your ethnicity, that 100% is racism. And it isn't just, isolated to me. I'm sure you had instances of this because, let's be honest, you were not an American citizen right away. You have an accent. So I guarantee you people said shit to you and probably held you back from certain things. Now, were you able to overcome those? Yeah, it's obvious. Yeah. But that's what it is. It's not, you're right. It's not just name calling. It's a fact when somebody sets up a barrier so that you cannot achieve those goals that you want.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, I just think if people want to do something and better their lives, they can do it. And if people want to, start companies or whatever they want to do, there's people that have started businesses with, $500 and $600. I mean, you can do anything you want to do if you just put yourself in your mind to it. But all this give me stuff. And I heard this from a relative not too long ago. They're like, oh, I've got this and I have to deal with this and I have to deal with this. And I was like, you know what? You still shit yellow. You don't know jack. You have not lived anything. So you need to buck it up, be a big kid, put your, big girl panties on and go out and do this. I mean, all this, timidness and petting them on the head and it's okay. And, I'll shelter you, man. I mean, you got to have hard knocks. You got to let that stuff just, fly off your back. You can't take all this crap personally. A word is a word. Somebody physically threatens you, that's a whole different ballgame. But man, there's just so many freaking snowflakes in this world and it drives me crazy, and I heard it today, I heard some people whining and bitching about, younger people whining and bitching about some stuff. And I was just like, really? I mean, good Lord.
You know what it is too, though, is I think the one thing that we've lost as people is we're not listening to anybody. We're not listening to each other. We're just trying to scream over each other. And nothing gets accomplished that way. And you can sit there and say, well, I'm not going to listen to this person because I don't give a shit. Well, then guess what? You're part of the problem. I'm not saying you got to agree with them. And I'm not saying you have to approve everything they're saying. But if you're not willing to listen to anybody and you're just going to go about with blinders on, you're never going to solve any problems. And this can not only just in life, but this could be anything, your professional life, your personal life, everything. There's always a time where you've got to be able to listen and listen to what somebody's saying. Doesn't mean you got to agree with them. Doesn't mean you have to say, oh, I 100% feel bad for what you did. Nobody's saying that, but it's okay to have somebody listen to you. And then when you're done, you listen to them. You don't have to agree to anything, but you know what? Sometimes you need to get that shit off your chest.
Yeah. And, I've told my guys this many times. I'm like, shut your mouth and listen. Just open your ears and shut your mouth. And you will gather so much information and you'll be able to, because if you're trying to talk over someone else, you're not going to hear, for one, what they're saying, so you can overcome their objection or their problem. So yeah, people just need to listen. And I think if we did, more moderating or just sitting down and listening to people, I think we could get a lot more accomplished. But if you look at these, rioters and all this stuff, this group's yelling at this group and screaming across the street and all this other stuff, nobody's doing anything. I mean, they're not getting anywhere. Right. They're spinning their wheels. And yes, music, that's what a baby does. So meaning like you're too young, so you're still a baby. That's what that meant. So
That's
that's
a
the
big
term.
Johnson. That's a big Johnsonism right there.
Yeah, that's some redneck right there. Trust me, I've said it many, many times. You're too
Oh
young to
man.
talk to me like that. You're still shitting yellow.
I'll tell you,
So that is what.
2020 has been a hell of a year, my friend. Hell of a year. So,
Yeah,
but
and
we
this
still got
is.
November, man.
Yeah, and this is really a good thing to say. We can't agree to disagree anymore. And I mean, I'm so tired. I mean, that's what I said. I said I wish this year could complete. I wish we could already be in 2021 and just crap's over with, and we're dealing with what's going on. But I am very, very tired of it. And I think a lot of people are. I think it's coming to a point, and I'm sure some attitudes and some, upsetness is probably, really rearing its ugly head with a lot of people. But if you haven't, if you're not in the working force and you're living at home with your mommy and daddy and all this other stuff, but yet you've got these opinions to change the world and you don't even pay taxes, I'm sorry. You still have an opinion, yes. However, you shouldn't control other people's destiny just because you have this, you and your little friends came up with this great idea. So.
All right. So IBG is telling us to stop talking about this. He's saying he wants to talk about guns. So in the spirit of 2020, go to hell, IBGG. We're not listening to anything you have to fucking say.
Yeah. No, we are.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah. Relax, everybody.
But anything that you have on your radar? I mean, anything else that you're looking about or you're thinking about?
Today was such a good day because you guys know that I got delayed yesterday. I guess because they're having, who knows? Who the hell knows what the reason was? But I got a phone call today at noon or a text at noon telling me everything went through. So I went and I picked up the MR920. Look, if you guys are Glock guys and you are one of those Glock guys that customizes the shit out of it, my advice is spend the bread and get one. It is a better gun. Now some might say, but it's not as reliable. It's all internal Gen 3 parts, man. But they did such a nice job. There's a video coming out soon on the tabletop with that. Then I got to shoot it at some point. And then I'm going to do a comparison between that and the Glock 19 Gen 4 that I have to see if it's actually worth the price tag. So that's going to, that'll come in time. And then of course I got a 1911, the Ronin Operator, which is a big, heavy steel 45. It's pretty sweet. Big, nasty gun. And, man, I'm starting to really dig these damn 1911s. And, you pull it out of the box. And I showed my wife, and the first things out of her mouth was, that's really nice looking. So if she says it's nice looking, then that might be something I have to start visiting more of.
Yeah, music. He's talking about a Shadow Systems.
Yeah, I'd show it to you, but we're not allowed to. And I see Roman's asking about the Caracal. It's funny you say that. I actually just emailed them, and again, no response. What a surprise. So at some point, I think my love affair with this gun is going to come to a really, really nasty ending. And I will have no problem making a video on that as well, because it's getting old, and it's getting old fast.
Mr. Sig has an opinion for you.
Yeah. My advice is just get something else than a Gucci Glock. Listen, my advice is shut the hell up.
Yeah. Hello, Mateo. I think that, I think that people should definitely get what they want and what they, feel comfortable with. Saying, hey, that's a crappy gun or this or that, especially, a lot of people, and I've had that too, and I'm sure you have too. A lot of people will diss on guns or, oh, that gun's horrible, but yet they've never shot it. They probably never even put it in their hand, and they're saying it's horrible. But if you are comfortable and you are a gun owner and you like that gun and it works for you, use that gun. No one should tell you what to use. So, that's the way I look at it.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool.
Music, they do not have a 17 size frame. I wish they did. They don't have one yet, but
they have a 17 slide on a 19 frame.
Yeah, they don't have the 17 length though yet. Yeah, but hopefully that will be coming. But you can change the frames on them, and there's a lot of things that you can do. They sell them separately, so it's kind of like a Legos type thing. But as far as closing out anything, I know that we kind of talked about politics. Sorry if you weren't on the politic train. That just seems that I've gotten a ton of questions about it. I don't know if 17 has, but everybody's like, hey, what's your opinion on this? What's your opinion on that? So I wrote them all down and figured we would blast through them as quick as we could. But, these politics things that maybe people don't like talking about, it can affect our gun situation. So that's why I kind of brought them up a little bit tonight. But what's going on? What do you have coming up? Anything super exciting or anything like that?
Well, I'm going to work the video out on the MR 920 at some point, get out, shoot it, do the same thing. You know, I operate, I do the tabletop first, the initial impression, and I do everything else. I also have 2 other little goodies coming, hopefully in a couple of weeks. So if you guys have been paying attention, I did get an Archon Type B. So that hopefully will be in a few weeks. And then I also got a Glock 45 of all things. So I'm looking forward to that because I did like the 19X quite a bit. And if I was going to keep one of my Glocks, it probably would be either 19X or 45 compared to a 19. I just like the way it feels better. And I think it's a really solidly built handgun. And there's also another gun that's coming, but I'm not saying anything yet. That's going to be here in hopefully a few weeks as well. So
cool.
It's nothing special.
Yeah, I put the video out today, but it hadn't gone anywhere because they demonetized it instantly and chopped my head off with it. YouTube did, like they're always doing. But I shot the suppressed 22, and it was a lot of fun. But it was bending rounds, so you can check that video out and actually show some of the rounds. So it was kind of weird. It only does that suppressed though, but with some ammo, it does not do it. So I guess that's me learning some suppressors and which ammo to use. But playing around with that stuff, and I've got another toy. I just haven't done a video on it because I haven't shot it yet, but it's actually really cool. It is colored, so it's something a little different, but I'm playing around with that stuff, and I carried some stuff on the road. I would show it, but I can't show it on YouTube because they'll chop this video off. And
what are they gonna do really? Like I've seen other channels where they're literally shooting guns out of their house, and their channel still exists. So
you're talking about live?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No,
you know the guy. You know who it is.
Oh yeah. No, I do. Yeah. Well, on the lives, you're not supposed to. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, they could delete the channel. You never know what the hell's going on, especially the way they are now. They might just be trying to find any little thing, to jam on some people. So who knows? But yeah, I've got got some stuff coming up. I've got some stuff I've been testing, off air, and I think I put a couple of pictures up on YouTube or on Instagram if you want to check them out. But got plates and carriers, different setup I've been wearing around the house and testing out, and kind of digging it. So something off the it's something that some people would probably say, oh, you shouldn't wear that or have that. However, I really like it. But that's what I'm doing right now. Also, I'm going to be shooting, a lot of 22s. I got some 9mm stuff, so I will be shooting, just not 400 and 500 rounds like I have been in the past. But and again, we appreciate all of y'all being on, giving us these great questions and being part of this. I think we went up to like 75 or 80 at one time. So that's always a big thing. Thank you, MD Polo. I love my orange shotgun. But yeah, we appreciate y'all coming on and being a part of this every Wednesday. It means a lot to us. And if you have any questions afterwards, 17 and I, whenever we do our chats, we try to come on each other's channels and answer the questions too. So you still get those point of views. So leave questions. Also, check us both out on Instagram. We post a lot of stuff that we don't post on here. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to both of us. I don't ever really ask for subscribers, but I guess I need to because, seems like I've been getting a bunch.
We need to ask for subscribers. We need to ask for thumbs ups. We need to ask for this, that. Because I mean, I don't know about you, man, but I've been a solid gun channel for 4 years. There's never been a change of anything for me. And I just think it's amazing. I'm watching guys, and I'm not jealous. I don't really give a shit. I mean, good for them. God bless. But I just think it's funny that people who don't push out content have 26,000 subscribers already. How's that fucking possible? So
I don't know,
whatever.
and that's what I was going to say. I know a lot of channels are like, hey, subscribe, thumbs up. They say that in all the videos, and I guess it works. I don't really say it. Maybe I need to. I don't know, because
I'm gonna do like the.
I don't even look at analytics. I'm just not that person.
Yeah.
It happens. But man, I look at my analytics and it's like 85% or 89% of my people are not even subs. They just Google it and find me that way.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, damn, figured my, subs.
Well, it is
Sub.
what it is, man. Like I said,
Yeah.
if we were doing this for the money and for the popularity, I would have stopped 3.5 years ago.
Oh
But
yeah.
I do it because I enjoy it. I like firearms and I like talking to people who enjoy it, and I'm not
Yeah.
stopping. If they demonetized everything, I still will not stop at all. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that to bullshit anybody. It is the truth. I will figure out ways to pay for things, and and that's what I've been doing for 4.5 years, pretty much.
Yeah. Me
But
too.
at the same time, man, I'm just going to keep on rolling. Who cares?
Yeah. I don't have any sponsors. I wish, people just say, hey, here's a bunch of guns and have fun with them, but it doesn't work that way for me.
I know. It's a lot of begging that goes on.
Yeah, exactly. But we appreciate y'all so much. Hang in there. Next week it'll be on his channel unless something changes. We'll help each other out.
Nah, should be. Well, it may be changing soon because don't forget I am moving soon. So
yeah, that's right.
I'll be able to do the live chats because there is Wi-Fi where we're going, but we have to have a transition phase because our house isn't done until the end of September. But I have to get out of this house that I'm living in at the end of August. So we're moving for a month and it sucks, but it is what it is. We'll be happy when we go. You know what? Like I always say to my kids, hard work pays off. And it's not because I'm rich. It's just because I've worked every day of my life for about 30 something years and it paid off. We got a very beautiful home being built right now. No, it's in New York. Sorry, Pistol Pete. I still got some years to go. But I'm excited, man. Totally excited because it's been worth the wait.
We've got a big construction project that's kicking off in the backyard next week, and it's a big one. And I'm just like, oh boy. So I'm going to have people trampsing in and out of that. But once it's done, it's going to be awesome. So pretty excited about it. But I hate rebuilding stuff or remodeling stuff, and I hate moving. So I definitely give you all my sympathies because I am.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a temporary discomfort, and that's the way I look at it, And like I said, we had some neighbors here that were absolute douchebags, and I'm going to tell them to go fuck themselves when I'm leaving on my last day. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah. There you
so
go.
if they're watching, which I know they're not, I'm telling them again, go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, y'all have a great night. We appreciate it as always. Remember, an unarmed nation is a very weak nation, so stay armed. Thanks, everyone.
See you next time, boys and girls. Everybody.
Take care.
Bye. Is it done?